All right, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to completely transform how you handle your daily corporate writing tasks using AI. If you've ever felt totally bogged down by the sheer mountain of correspondence you have to climb just to get through the week, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we are putting Claude to work.
So let's just get real for a second and ask ourselves, how many hours do we literally lose each week just staring at a blinking cursor, trying to draft the exact same emails, reports, and presentations over and over? I mean, it's the silent productivity killer of the corporate world, isn't it? We type a little, we backspace, we desperately pray we hit the right professional tone. But what if we've been looking at all this busy work completely wrong?
Because here is the fascinating part, the real light bulb moment. Repetition equals template potential. Our three biggest time sinks, emails, reports, and presentations, they all share this hidden strength. They rely on repetitive structures. And in the AI world, anything that can be templated can absolutely be automated. We're not letting AI steal our jobs here. We're just building a really smart framework to handle the heavy lifting of that painful first draft.
Okay, so here is our quick roadmap for this explainer. First, mastering AI email prompts. Second, structuring AI business reports. Third, clarifying AI presentation roles. And finally, we'll wrap up with 3 golden AI principles. Let's dive right in.
Starting off with our first category, mastering AI email prompts and turning Claude into your expert drafter.
There is a massive night and day difference between just asking an AI to do a task versus actually engineering a result. If you use a weak prompt, well, you're going to get a generic, robotic email that sounds like it was auto-generated by a server from the 90s. But when you engineer a strong prompt, assigning a specific role, a time frame, an exact tone, and a clear outcome, you get this immediate, highly polished draft that genuinely sounds human. To consistently get that amazing result, you've got to provide these 6 critical pieces of context. Honestly, think of Claude like a brilliant but totally unbriefed new assistant. It needs to know who is writing, who's receiving it, how strategically important this client is, the core message, the tone, and the length. Seriously, if you skip the length part, Claude might just write you an entire novel. Just adding maximum 3 paragraphs changes the whole game.
And oh, this is an absolutely brilliant secret for nailing the right vibe, especially when you have to deliver bad news. Use tone-contrast pairs. Telling an AI to just be professional is way too vague, but calibrating it with a contrast, like direct but not harsh, or reassuring explanation, not an apology, that acts like a microscopic tuning dial for those really delicate corporate situations. All right, moving on to our second category. Structuring AI business reports.
Asking for a generic report completely fails because every single company's formatting is radically different. If you just ask for a sales report, you're going to get a totally random layout every week. The real magic happens when you dictate the structure first. You give the AI the exact skeleton, a 3-sentence summary, a data table, bulleted risks, and then instruct it to just fill that structure with your raw data. Boom, now you've got a repeatable template. But wait, huge red flag here. There is a major pitfall you absolutely must avoid when feeding data into an AI. You have to strictly forbid it from speculating. AI models are eager to please, right? Which means they might accidentally invent causal relationships that just do not exist in your numbers. You have to be explicit. Tell it, only write conclusions directly derived from the data provided, no speculation. And to guarantee your report is actually going to get read, always apply the CEO test. Imagine your CEO is skimming this on their phone while literally sprinting to catch an elevator. Instruct the AI, this will be read by the CEO. Maximum 1 page. The 3 core messages must be in the very first paragraph. It instantly forces the AI to cut all the fluff and prioritize crystal clear communication.
Okay, let's jump into our third category, clarifying AI presentation roles.
Creating a presentation is really 2 totally different jobs, right? Writing the narrative and designing the slides. A generic prompt falls flat here because it lacks context. A snappy 20-minute pitch to seasoned financial investors looks wildly different from a 1-hour training for brand new managers. So a strong prompt has to establish the duration, the specific topic, and crucially, the audience's baseline knowledge.
This table is fantastic because it draws a really hard line between what Claude should do versus what you still need to handle. Claude is an absolute powerhouse at message clarity, organizing your slide flow, drafting sharp bullets, and building a narrative arc. But, at least for now, it is completely out of scope for graphic design, visual layouts, or native PowerPoint formatting. So don't waste your time trying to force the AI to be a designer. Use it as your chief copywriter.
And because the AI isn't making your slides look pretty, its most valuable output is actually drafting high-impact speaker notes. Guys, this is your secret weapon. Let's be honest, most corporate slides look exactly the same anyway. It's the spoken narrative that actually sets you apart. Instruct the AI to generate robust, compelling speaker notes for every single slide. That is where your story comes alive and where you save literal hours of prep time.
Let's synthesize all of this with our final section, the 3 golden AI principles.
If you memorize nothing else today, lock in these 3 golden principles, and you'll turn your AI into the ultimate drafting partner. Number 1, give context, not just the task. Don't forget the who, the to whom, and the tone. Number 2, determine the structure yourself and let the AI fill in the content. And number 3, treat the AI's output as a 70 to 80% ready source. It is definitely not the final product. You are still the human in the loop, providing that crucial final polish.
Now, before we wrap up, and by the way, make sure you join us for our next explainer, where we are going to tackle using AI for customer service and sales. It's going to be great. I want to leave you with the most important question of all. Think about this. If the AI is writing your first drafts and getting you 80% of the way there, how are you going to use those hours you saved to elevate that final 20%? By taking the busy work out of writing, you suddenly have the bandwidth for actual meaningful strategy. Something to think about. See you next time.